let's get into the Patriots 2018 free agents as the offseason has officially begun. And we talked about maybe the biggest talked name so far of the Patriots offseason. That's Malcolm Butler. So we know that Malcolm Butler is a free agent. We know that he's highly disgruntled, didn't play a single defensive snap in the Super Bowl, and now he's definitely going to leave. He's probably going to get a deal similar to Jimmy Smith's 4-year, $41 million contract. He is not going to get anything close to what Stephon Gilmore got. If he does, I will be incredibly surprised. I think Jimmy Smith's deal is the perfect kind of makeup for what Malcolm Butler should get on the open market. Expect a lot of teams to go after him. The Jets will go after him, as will the Green Bay Packers. So Malcolm Butler will certainly be in high demand. Let's get into our next one. Dion Lewis had a great year for the Pats, especially down the stretch heading into the playoffs. He's going to want about 3 years, maybe about 13 mil, 15 mil total, probably about 4 to 5 mil annually. The Patriots, that's a little high for them in terms of what they usually paid their running back, so I think Dion Lewis is also on his way out. Definitely helped his stock of the past couple games with the Pats. Had that torn ACL with the Patriots against that game against the Redskins, but look, Dion Lewis was a great Patriot. Sad to see him go, but glad to see a man deservingly get paid. How about Danny Playoffs? Amendola, have no fear, people. Danny Amendola will be staying. He is going to get a new deal this year. They have been restructuring his contract almost every year for the past 3 years, so maybe now he'll get a more solidified deal, probably on a 1-year, 2-year deal basis. Won't be anything too long-term, at least until he wants to retire. He has said in the past that he does want to retire as a Patriot. We already talked about Nate Solder. Been an interesting career for him with the Patriots. A lot of ups and downs. Sometimes he looks like one of the 10 best tackles in football. Other times it looks like he deserves to be on the practice squad. This year did not have a good year at all. Maybe the worst season of his career. A lot of off-the-field stuff going on with him, with his son having cancer treatments. Himself also having gone through cancer a couple of years ago. So the team did draft his possible replacement in Antonio Garcia from Troy. So if they do decide to move on from Nate Solder, they do have someone they can slot in at left tackle. Matthew Slater is our next free agent. And again, another player who will be back. Captain Matt, the special teams captain for forever, it feels like for now. He only played 9 games this year, but he will be back next year. I do have a prediction for everyone that once Joe Judge, the current special teams coach, leaves in the next couple of years, probably, I think that Matthew Slater is going to retire and end up coming either an assistant special teams coordinator or the special teams coordinator, one of the best special teams minds the NFL has ever seen, not even close. How about Rex Burkhead, another running back for the Patriots? Probably a more price level worthy option for the Pats. Had a good first year with him, 8 total touchdowns, was great in the receiving game as well. Might end up getting the shot at the #1 running back spot that is currently wide open for the Patriots if they don't decide to draft anybody. But he had a good year. It was kind of him versus Mike Gillislee all year long, but I think we've all seen that Rex Burkhead definitely won the battle. I'm Harris Rubenstein. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsTeam. Those were some of the Patriots 2018 free agents. And again, another reminder to like New England Patriots by Chat Sports so you can get alerted whenever we go live here on the Patriots Report. How about the rest of those 2018 free agents? And let's go to Johnson Batamasi. So getting a lot of crap recently for not playing very well at all in the Super Bowl, and he didn't. He was just terrible. But he was a good special teams player. He did fill in nicely sometimes in the slot when they needed him to throughout the season. Probably not who you want starting at the slot if you're in the Super Bowl against maybe the best or second best offense in all of football, but was a good special teams player, can apply some depth. I would expect him to either be back or maybe go back to the Lions from who they traded him for. How about Cameron Fleming, who had an amazing season for the Patriots? I say amazing because if you think about what he was expected to do when he replaced Marcus Cannon at right tackle, I thought Cameron Fleming was going to be just terrible. I thought he was going to be the worst player in the entire offensive line. He was great down the stretch for them. He was really good in the playoffs. He was great against the Eagles until like the final offensive snap that the team had where Brady got stripped. But look, Cameron Fleming played a great game. I think they're going to try to bring him back. It's going to be interesting to see how much money he's going to demand either from the Patriots or on the open market as that kind of #3 tackle swing guy who can fill in at right or left tackle when you need him to, but I would expect him to come back to the Patriots. I think his best home is here. Nate Ebner's our next guy. An unrestricted free agent, was an All-Pro in 2016, but he did tear his ACL off that fake punt this year. So again, another one of the better special teams players in the entire NFL. Again, we know that the Patriots love to keep these special team specific guys. So Matthew Slater, Nate Ebner, Brandon King, all three of those guys are free agents this year. So if they wanted to move on from one of them, I don't think it's going to be Nate Ebner. He's just been one of their projects that they love turning into a football player. He was obviously one of the best rugby players in all of America, and they turned him into a football player. So an interesting little scenario for Nate Ebner, but again, I'd expect him to be back in 2018. How about Adrian Waddle? 4 starts this year, and then he got kicked out of his starting job by Cameron Fleming. So he came in, he got the first shot at the job from when Marcus Cannon went down. It wasn't very good at all. Cameron Fleming came in and totally took the job from him. I think they're going to move on from Adrian Waddle and draft another tackle. They drafted a couple tackles in the years past, like we talked about Tony Garcia. They did draft Connor McDermott last year out of UCLA, but they cut him during camp. He got picked up by the Bills. So I think the Patriots will draft another swing tackle. I think Adrian Waddle's time with the Patriots might just be over. Another player whose career with the Patriots is probably over is James Harrison, and hey, his entire career might just be over. He was good for them, though. He kind of supplied what they needed at DN because the entire DN rotation was riddled with injuries all year long. Ended up with 2 sacks and a couple nice plays in the playoffs as well. We know that the team wants to get younger and more athletic at DN, but man, James Harrison, certainly not the guy that the Patriots are hoping to build around at the defensive end spot. Ricky Jean-Francois is another free agent for the Pats. Was a decent fill-in at defensive tackle. 10 tackles, good in the run game. He actually, I believe, got the start in the Super Bowl, but that kind of shows you the kind of injuries the Patriots were under this year. Losing a guy like a Vincent Valentine just wasn't able to make up the rest of the defensive line. Brandon Bolden, one of the Patriots' big-time vets. He's been on the Patriots for as long as I can remember. Might be retiring, only at 13 total carries this year. Another big-time special teamer for them. A career Patriot, might end up on the team next year. Might actually got cut. I think he was going to get cut coming out of camp this year, but he ended up back on the team after the preseason. But I think he might retire. I think his career is officially over. Geno Grissom. Oh, Geno Grissom. Geno Grissom. One of the bigger busts that Bill Belichick has had in a long time. Barely played this year. Was a practice squad guy that they called up due to injury. I think his Patriots career is over. I know a lot of Patriots fans are done with him, waiting for him to turn into a good player. Let's move on. His time with the Patriots is officially over. Another guy who we might see come back this year from a special teams perspective is Brandon King. So we talked about the different special teamers the Patriots like to keep on this roster. Brandon King was one of them. He didn't have as good of a season this year as he did last year, but still one of the better special teams players on the entire roster. I would expect they bring him back and probably bring him back for pretty cheap. He is a restricted free agent, so if a team wants to make an offer, they will have to give up a draft pick for him, which I just don't actually see happening. So I think Brandon King will be back on the Patriots. Marquise Flowers is a really interesting name. He is an exclusive rights free agent, but he was traded this year for a 7th-round pick, and I think the Patriots are going to end up keeping him. He was really good down the stretch for the Pats on defense. 3.5 sacks, a forced fumble, 32 tackles. The Patriots have been rumored to want him back. I think he's a great backup linebacker. He fits exactly what they like to get out of that kind of, I want to say, more outside linebacker position. He's not so much Jamie Collins, but he's Jamie Collins light if you need someone that can come off the edge and also cover people out of the backfield. Marquise Flowers is your guy. I would expect him to be back. And then finally, we have Ted Karras. Just good offensive line depth. He wasn't very good when he started this year, but he's been pretty good in his Patriots career whenever they've had to slot him in. Another guy who I'd expect to bring him back. Probably put him on the practice squad or just keep him in that 53-man roster and put him on the inactive list every week. So we want to know from you guys, who should the Patriots bring back? Give me a heart for Dion Lewis, a wow face for Malcolm Butler, a laughing face for Nate Solder, and a thumbs up for Rex Burkhead. Off that list, I'm throwing up a thumbs up. I think Rex Burkhead is going to end up coming back for this team. I think he's going to be your #1 running back coming out of camp next year unless they decide to draft someone. But man, I can't remember the last time the Patriots have drafted a starting caliber running back in the draft. James White's the only running back I can remember that they've actually drafted that's turned into anything. But that's going to do it for Patriot support. You can follow me on Twitter @SportsThean for all of your Patriots news and rumors. And once again, like the New England Patriots by Chat Sports page. You won't regret it. You'll get a lot of Patriots videos, photos, and of course, live notifications whenever the Patriots report goes live. I'll see you guys next time. I'm Harris Rubenstein.